Hello, everyone. It's Ladybirke here. I hope that you guys are having a great week so far. Um, Today, I just wanted to use this opportunity to address a question that I received from a tenant in Arizona. I was really excited when I got the question because that's the kind of feedback I'm looking for so that I can continue to provide property management tips. So, this tenant in Arizona is experiencing an issue with her neighbor where her neighbor continues to smoke even though the property is non smoking. So, the smoke comes into this tenant's house, and this is very difficult for this tenant to live with because this tenant in particular is recovering from cancer. So, she's really concerned about her health. She wanted to know what's the best thing to do. How do I go about resolving this issue? So, there's a couple of layers to this issue. The first thing, as a tenant, my advice to anyone that's a tenant is to report the issue. And you have to keep on reporting the issue. You can't just report it once and that's it. Especially if your health is being affected, you have to continue to report the issue to the management company or your property manager if you know who that is. So go to them and continue to go to them. Don't let up. What really will determine if this problem gets resolved successfully is the manager, the property manager. So, most states, I can't speak about laws for every single state in this country, but most states will back up a landlord's right to enforce the non smoking property um, the non smoking property rule if that verbiage is on the rental agreement. And it needs to establish the conditions on where and when the tenant can smoke on the property, if at all. And the lease has to be very specific. If it's not on the rental agreement, there would need to be an addendum to the rental agreement, a non smoking policy addendum that every single resident at that property would have had to sign. If the management company has that, they can then go ahead and strictly enforce the non smoking policy with this resident. Now, for every time a property manager communicates with a resident that's in violation, you should be sending written notice of that communication. You should be documenting it, and that should be going in their tenant file. If you tell this resident in violation that if this continues and you get a third written notice, we will terminate your residency in compliance with your rental agreement, then that's what you need to do. One thing you should never do as a property manager is make empty threats because residents are smarter than that and they will catch on to the fact that you are just saying this. Make sure you follow through on what you say, and in doing so, you're going to command respect from your residents. So please, it's a twofold issue. Make sure that you, as the tenant, if you're having this issue with smoking, report it, and the property manager needs to do their due diligence and strictly enforcing the non smoking policy. So, to the tenant in Arizona, I wanted to say thank you so much for reaching out to me with that question. I really hope that you get good results from reporting this to your manager, and I wish you the best in your recovery from cancer. Now, the second thing that I would like to share is just some photos because I mentioned in my last video that I would be posting photos, share some stories of uh, units of how residents will leave a unit. And I do have some photos here that someone sent me. And this is how a resident that moved out turned over possession to the management company. This is how they left the unit. Take a look. Okay, so you saw those photos, how very dirty that unit was, all of the items that was left in the unit. I can promise you that tenant did not get their security deposit back. And it's very unfortunate that that happens, and a lot of people leave their unit in such horrible condition, basically forfeiting your deposit. When you leave your unit, your apartment in that condition, you're basically forfeiting your deposit because it's going to take a lot to haul away all those items to professionally clean the unit and bring it back to its original condition. The second set of photos that I have for you is actually from a tenant that moved into an apartment, and this tenant documented the condition they were given the apartment in. Take a look. So, did you see how dirty and brown that water was? That was from the carpet. This tenant actually shampooed their own carpet. It was so dirty. You saw the flooring, the tile flooring, it was filthy. He had found a bunch of stuff underneath the stove in the kitchen. So this unit, unfortunately, was not delivered to this tenant in a clean, habitable condition the way we are obligated to as property managers and private landlords. We're obligated by law to deliver a unit to a tenant in a clean, safe, and habitable condition. So when something like this happens, my advice to any property manager or private landlord is, you know that that unit wasn't clean. You might have forgotten to go out and do your final inspection before that tenant moved in. Maybe you didn't have the time, or maybe by the time you did go, it was too late. The tenant was moving in that same day. In either case, my advice to you is to reassure the tenant that you're going to take care of it. You can send a cleaner out right away and get that taken care of, or give them the option. Ask them, like, if you want to clean the unit, I will give you a 1 day rent credit, and apologize for that, because you know that we are obligated to make sure that that unit is clean. So, these are all the tips I have for today. I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like the video and share it, and please subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.